People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people.
Wake up.
Oh, Mama, I'm gonna lose that nail.
I'm mossy, Jerry. My brain is mossy.
Are you like a crazy person?
A 100 microtesla wave of radiation that would destroy our ozone layer, killing every living organism on the planet.
Welcome to the WTF Files. The ultimate aim of all science, to penetrate the unknown. The greatest mystery is right here, right under our feet. These are the stories that will make you say, "What the fuck is going on?"
According to Michael, from the Council of Time, things are getting bad, fast.
With a weakening of our atmosphere, the Earth can burn up. Our magnetosphere redirects the solar winds in a very specific way. But what we have is a fluctuating magnetosphere, which means certain parts of Earth is getting worse, and it's getting worse, and it's getting worse. And there are certain parts of Earth that have no protection at certain times. And it's just happening all over the place.
Across the Southwest, 30 million people are under heat alerts as temperatures in California and Arizona could hit their highest records. Death Valley could even reach 130 on Sunday and Monday. This comes close to the hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth, which is at Death Valley at 134 degrees. That was back in 1913.
As Earth begins to feel the effects of these superheated particles bombarding the surface, the first thing to go will surely be our electrical grids.
So when you're dealing with electronics is very susceptible to current, right? Not necessarily voltage, but current. And some of the new advancements that they put in the power lines that they spent 8 years upgrading, trying to make them EMP proof, right? They also came with a type of flaw, and it's called jump current. In other words, how they built certain components, all you need is a large magnetic force outside of it, and it causes it to be just like a capacitor. And it will discharge, which means if the sun fluctuates a bit too much, or if our magnetosphere fluctuates a bit too much, you've already got that electric potential there. And the magnetic buildup causes current to flow in those wires, and then it's going to overload. But what I'm talking about is the electric potential built up that goes right to the customer's home. And there's nothing blocking it. And when that happens, you're going to have more current means your wires are going to have a higher temperature. And I'm really worried about Texas.
In Texas, more than 3 million households still without power, heat, and for many running water for a third day, creating dangerous conditions in the Dallas area where temperatures aren't expected to get above freezing today at all. The power grid there buckling under the pressure of this deadly cold snap, rather.
Joe Biden and Democrats better think twice about unleashing the Green New Deal on the whole country. Just take a look at what's happening in Texas. The state hit with massive power outages from a giant winter storm that's hammering most of the country. 4 million people in the state are in the dark and don't have heat. The cold crippling Texas's power grid, and part of the reason why is because wind turbines are frozen. Half of the state's wind power capacity was reportedly offline. Former Energy Secretary Rick Perry says what's happening in his home state could be a sign of things to come.
And so you have all these potential points of breakdown, which raises, that potential of fire. I know that there was a presidential discussion about releasing all that, but that takes at least a year. And during that process, things fall apart. And we haven't even seen the hot temperatures yet. People are going to see temperatures of it. Now, this is going to sound crazy. You watch, 168 degrees. This year, we had two rolling fronts that came through. And they heated up the ground so much, it's so bad that the National Weather Service, if somebody goes, if some of these tech people, they pull some of the code from some of these websites, they can see numbers in some of the JavaScript and some of the scripts that they write, and they depreciate the temperatures about 3 to 4 times, right, to give a consistent temperature, because they don't want to report some of these hot spots on Earth. They're being picked up from satellite. It is unbelievable. It changed some of the thermal graphics that they normally read and the colors. They had to change all of that because they picked up hot spots that were just simply white, right? And you can't get data if something's totally white. And so what they had to do was scale back the readings so they could actually account for some of these new hot temperatures that we have. Last year already, they've had temps already up to 157. 157. So 168, right? Although that's very close to 157. And you know they have a warning out for potential fires this entire year. They even gave the name derecho to explain some of the phenomena that's happening. But they'll always try to normalize some of these new conditions, right? But we shouldn't see it as such. But they will understand that conditions are degrading on the Earth. If anything goes on the internet, don't think it's the actual number from the instrument itself. Those numbers are going to be scrubbed, sterilized, and everything else is going to happen to those numbers before anybody can read them, because they're not going to have the public in panic. The public cannot comprehend, right, anything outside of what the textbooks say. They have a job to keep everything within margins of those textbooks. They have a job. But if you have your own thermometer, right, all they have to do is stick it on top of their house. And when they see their shingle temperature go up to their, I mean, it's outrageous already. The radiation from the sun can heat things up so hot. All you need is a thermometer, and you can see it yourselves. I would suggest getting some of the old ones with the mercury in them. That works really good, so long as we have a consistent gravitational pull. But yeah, they're really telling. Some of the new rad sensors out there, they've been calibrated. And most of these things are digital now. So guess what? If they want your numbers to be lower, they just send a signal out. The numbers you read on whatever device you have are going to be a bit lower than what they normally are.
168 degrees. If you are looking at this from our same point of view, right about now, you should be thinking,
what the fuck?
As if Earth has not had enough to deal with over these past couple of years. But now, it is predicted to get far worse.
And what can't be stressed enough is all these things people are going to see. It's almost a trial of flesh. And if a person can subdue their flesh now, work on that now, God has given us a lifetime. If they can work on that now, they won't have that issue.
The question of humanity's future here on Earth is a more serious question than most people would like to believe. As we head together toward our unknown future, we would like to just make one simple request during the rest of the trip to the end.
Why can't we all just get along?
Then you question everything.
And someone told you that's bad?